Good morning. Happy Thursday. Welcome to Total Body Strength. We got a good workout today. I made it a little bit more themed. So we're going to be spelling out summer today. In terms of equipment, we do need one set of dumbbells. I always recommend two, just so that we can have options between upper and lower body. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do 40 seconds of work, 20 seconds of rest, 3 rounds. So I'm gonna get started with our demos here today. And we're gonna start off with some goblet squats here. And we're gonna do a 3-second eccentric. So that means we're gonna go down nice and slow, 3 seconds. So you can grab your heavier dumbbell for this, and you're gonna hold that dumbbell underneath the chin. Feet are gonna be hip width apart, toes forward. We're gonna come down 1, 2, 3, push the ground away and stand back up. So we got 1, 2, 3, and up. So that's gonna be our first movement. Our second movement, for the U, we're gonna do underhand crossbody front raises. So we're gonna have our palms up. We're gonna squeeze through the chest. So I want us to all squeeze right here and then lift that dumbbell up and down, and then same on the other side. So really squeezing through the front of the armpit. So if you're standing here, we just want to squeeze and lift. So that's gonna be our second movement. And then we're gonna go ahead and move to a lateral moving lunge. Moving lateral lunge, whatever you want to call it. So for this one, you can either have a dumbbell or no dumbbell. If you've never done this before, I would recommend at least the first round doing no weight here. I probably am honestly going to do no weight the whole time. But we can hold that dumbbell just like we were for the goblet squat. And then we're going to step out to the side, hips going back, knee coming forward, pushing through and moving in that direction. So it's very similar to a regular side lunge, but we're moving. So we're stepping out and then pushing through with that foot that we stepped out with. So coming out, stepping over, and then pushing through the heel. So that is our third movement. And then we're gonna get on the ground for some glute bridge marches for our second M. And we're gonna have our feet hip width apart here, pushing those hips towards the ceiling. We wanna keep that core tight. And then we exhale, driving one knee at a time, coming up and then back down. So that's gonna be our glute bridge march. And then for the E, we're gonna do some eccentric overhead presses. So similar to our goblet squats, we're gonna start dumbbells at our shoulders here, pressing up and then lowering 1, 2, 3, and then doing that same thing again. So 1, 2, 3. So that is that one. And then finally for our R, we're gonna do our Romanian deadlift. So we're gonna go ahead and have our dumbbells. You can also grab your heavier ones for this one if you do have a heavier set. We're gonna have our feet hip width apart, pushing our hips back, like we're closing a door, and then pushing through the heel base to little toe, but really emphasizing those heels as we push up to really help us engage those glutes. Really important too to keep that core locked in. So I like to imagine zipping the core up. But that is gonna be our whole workout today. So we're gonna go ahead and get started with our warm up. So we're gonna be on the ground, half kneeling position. We're gonna do 2 hip flexor hamstring stretches on each side. So we're gonna go ahead and tuck the pelvis, squeeze the glute of the knee that's on the ground. We're gonna push those hips forward. Nice big deep breath. And we're gonna exhale, rock back, toes to the ceiling, chest towards the knee. The more the toe is towards the ceiling, we're gonna feel that more in the calf. And we're gonna go ahead and exhale, rocking back forward. So squeeze the glute and push those hips forward. Try to go a little bit deeper into the stretch this time. Nice big deep breath. And exhaling, rocking back, toes to the ceiling, chest towards the knee. Breathing into those tight areas. And then we can go ahead and exhale and come out of that. And then we're going to go ahead and switch sides. So opposite knee on the ground, opposite foot on the ground, starting off with our hip flexor stretch. So we're going to keep that core tight, squeeze the glute, and push those hips forward. Nice big deep breath. And we're going to exhale, rock the hips back, toes to the ceiling, chest towards the knee. Nice big deep breath. And exhale, coming forward. Last one here. So squeeze the glute, push those hips forward. Nice deep breath. And we're exhaling, rocking our hips back, toes to the ceiling, chest towards the knee. Nice deep breath. And we can go ahead and exhale and come out of that. And then we're going to go ahead and make our way onto the hands and knees. And we're going to do a couple of rotations here. So we're going to go ahead and take the right hand. We're going to inhale, reach through in between the left arm, left leg. And exhale, opening up towards the ceiling. And we're going to inhale, reach through. And exhale, opening up. And one more, reaching through. And exhaling, opening up. And we can go ahead and bring that hand back up underneath the shoulder. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So we're going to inhale, reach through. Exhale, opening up. And reaching through. And exhaling, opening up. And last one, reaching through. And exhaling, opening up. Now we can go ahead and bring that hand back up underneath the shoulder. And we are ready to rock and roll. So we got 40 seconds of work, 20 seconds of rest. We're going to do that 3 times through. We're getting started with our goblet squats. And we're getting ready here. 3, 2, 1, and go. So we got our dumbbell underneath the chin, toes pointed forward, feet hip width apart. We're coming down 1, 2, 3, pushing through the ground, coming back up. So keeping that core nice and tight, really zipping it together, zipping each part of our six pack. And then also keeping that, it'll help keep that back flat. So we really also want to focus on pushing our feet through the ground, heel, big toe, little toe, coming up, making sure we're not pushing those hips too far forward. 3, 2, 1. All right, next up we have our underhand cross body front raises. So we're going to grab the other dumbbell and we're going to have our arms coming up, over, and across. 3, 2, 1. So we want to squeeze through the chest, exhaling, coming up. So we want to be nice and controlled here. It's not about how fast we are lifting the weight. It's about what muscles we are using to bring our arm up, over, and across. So we want to squeeze through this part here. So that's where we want to feel the movement. Sometimes I like to imagine like we're, kind of giving someone a hug. Lifting your arms up to hug someone is kind of how we want to imagine that. 3, 2, 1. All right, next up we have a moving lateral lunge. So you can either have your weight holding it like a goblet squat, the same way we hold it like a goblet squat, or you can do the first round body weight if that is more comfortable. 3, 2, 1. So keeping that core tight, stepping out, letting that knee track past our second toe, push the ground away, heel, big toe, little toe, and then we're gonna move back in the direction we came. So however much space you have, I'm only doing 2 each way because the third would make me go off camera. So I'm only doing 2. If you'd like to do 3 or 4, kind of whatever you have room for, really focusing on driving through that foot that's on the ground. We want to feel it in our glutes. Also going to feel it in the quads a little bit. 3, 2, 1. All right. Next up, we have glute bridge marches. So we're going to get on the ground, on our backs. And we're going to have our feet hip width. Try and keep those heels directly below the knees. 3, 2, 1. So we want to tuck that pelvis, keeping that core engaged. Exhaling as we drive the knee up. Really focusing on pulling the knee with the core. So we're zipping that core up. We have a string attached to the end of the zipper, and that is pulling the knee up. Our glutes are being engaged too. So we're really driving through the heel of the opposite leg to make sure that glute is keeping us stable. So we want to try and have those headlights on our hips, blind the ceiling. 3, 2, 1. That's going to help us prevent it from having our low back take all of the attention there. All right, we're standing back up. We got overhead presses, 3 seconds, down, 3, 2, 1, otherwise known as an eccentric overhead press. So we're coming up and down, 1, 2, 3, making sure those elbows are slightly in front. Definitely want to keep it lighter on this movement just because it does take a lot of muscle engagement. So we're going to be pretty tired, especially by round 3. So we want to make sure we're controlling that weight down, keeping that core nice and tight. Don't want to arch that back. 3, 2, 1. All right, last movement of round 1. We have Romanian deadlifts. So we're going to have our feet hip width apart, having those dumbbells stay as close to our legs as we can. That's what helps us push those hips back. 3, 2, 1. So slight bend in the knee, push those hips back, push the ground away. Keeping that core engaged so that we are not pulling up with our back. We should, in a way, feel our back muscles like working, but we don't want to pull with the low back. So those low back muscles, we do need to strengthen them, which this movement does, but we run the risk of injuring ourselves if we are pulling up with our back versus pushing those heels through the ground. 3, 2, 1. All right, round 1 is done. We're getting ready. We have goblet squats. 3 seconds down, 3 seconds. No, not 3 seconds up. We're doing 3 seconds down, powering up. 3, 2, 1. So feet are hip width apart, coming down. 1, 2, 3. Push to the ground, stand it back up. Really important here that we are not thrusting our hips forward. So we're coming down, and as we drive up, our hips are staying in line with our shoulders and our feet. What happens when we start to do this, or we're pushing back, if we squeeze the glutes too much at the top, our hips are coming forward. That's all the low back there. So I want to make sure that we are staying nice and tall as we stand up. 3, 2, 1. All right, we're getting ready for our underhand front raises. And again, instead of coming straight out in front, we're coming across the body a little bit. That's going to engage that chest more than just the shoulders. 3, 2, 1. Coming up, over, across. Really pulling with our chest muscles here. I like to imagine too that we're starting out, we're really scooping that pinky up towards the opposite direction, focusing on scooping versus just raising. It's going to help us really find that chest engagement here. Again, it's not about how fast we go, it's about how we move the weight and what muscles we are feeling. Want to really focus on using the proper intent here. 3, 2, 1. All right. Moving lateral lunges coming up next. So again, you can either have your weights if you'd like, you can have no weight, whatever feels good for you. I'm going to do a few in this direction. 3, 2, 1. I gotta be careful because I have definitely stepped off of this and slid. So, but really making sure that that chest is staying up, our hips are going back. I see too often that we're here, and that's going to put that pressure on the knee joint. So we want the knee to come forward, but we also want our hips to come back, just as if we were doing a 2-leg squat in place. So we're coming out, knee over the toe, hip goes back. So instead of here, we're here, and then pushing through the ground. So that's what I want us to focus on here as we're stepping out and pushing up. 3, 2, 1. All right, we have glute bridge marches next. So we're on the ground, on our backs. Getting ready, feet hip width apart. 3, 2, 1. So the core is engaged, pushing those hips up. One knee at a time. Using that core. Exhaling as we come up. Acting like we're zipping our 6-pack together. Driving the opposite heel into the ground. So that heel drive is what helps us use those glutes, which is going to help strengthen them, which will again help with kind of offsetting any low back tension we feel. Really working. 3, 2, 1. All right. We got 2 more movements for round 2. And then we got 1 more round to go. So we're doing our eccentric overhead presses. 3, 2, 1. So we're gonna have those elbows slightly out in front. Our core is nice and tight. Really pushing through. We want to feel it in our shoulders. Want to keep those ears as far away from the shoulders as we can. So what happens when we start to do that is we're going to use our traps instead of the shoulders. So being aware that we are not shrugging. Keeping those elbows in front. We have 45-degree angles here. 3, 2, 1. All right. RDLs. And then we got 1 more round. And then we'll cool down and be on with the rest of our day. And then we got more classes coming up later. 2, 3, 2, 1. So bringing that core together, push those hips back, push the ground away. You might notice that I am moving as if we were doing them slow down and slow up. But I really do like to focus on moving nice and slow. So I focus on moving the proper muscles. When I move too fast, I start to use my back, and definitely don't want that. So being really focused here, moving at a good pace where you're focused on keeping that core tight and using our glutes. 3, 2, 1. All right. We got 1 more round to go. Starting off with our goblet squats. 3-second eccentric. So going slow, all the way down for 3 seconds. Oh, I'm kind of cold. I don't know what I am right now. 3, 2, 1. I thought I was getting hot. but then I'm actually still a little bit cold. I don't really know what's going on anymore. All right, inside part of the knee, tracking past the second toe, pushing through heel big toe, little toe, keeping that chest open. So if we act like we're squeezing, I don't even like the squeezing through the shoulder blades. I like more squeezing through the armpits to pull those shoulder blades down and back. So we're squeezing through the armpits. So the way the shoulder blades are down. 3, 2, 1. All right, great job. Done with those for today. Picking up our other dumbbell. We got underhand front raises coming across. Getting ready. 3, 2, 1. So again, if we act like we are scooping that pinky, moving at a pace where again, we're engaging those proper muscles. Weightlifting is not a race. It's not about how fast you move. It's about how well you move within the session. And that's what's going to help us be stronger outside of the gym, which is always my goal. Whatever we do in here is going to help us move better outside of these classes, outside of the sessions. Great job. 3, 2, 1. All right, we got our moving lateral lunge. So now that we are 3 rounds in, let's go ahead and pick up some weight here, but also really making sure that we are staying strong in that foot that is moving out. 3, 2, 1. So I like doing these moving lunges because they are really good to help strengthen, especially the outside parts of our legs, but it's really good to help strengthen our side to side movement because life is not lived just back and forth. So when we come out to the side and then we push off, that's going to make our push off stronger. If we're walking and we got to kind of maybe step off the curb, or if we're playing, it definitely makes it easier and helps prevent those the ACL tears, which are pretty common. 3, 2, 1. And they are more common in kids, especially young women, but that is due to our loose joints that we are so blessed to have. All right, we got glute bridge marches, feet hip width apart. 3, 2, 1. So tugging the pelvis, locking that core in, push those hips up, and driving the opposite heel through the ground. Try and keep those feet hip width apart. That's going to help with balance, stability. Driving those heels of the opposite leg that we are marching with. Trying using that core to keep ourselves stable. So the core strength is always going to be important, that pillar strength, shoulders, hips, and torso. So that way we can pull our extremities using the core. 3, 2, 1. All right. We got 2 more movements and then we'll cool down. So we got our overhead presses with 3-second eccentric. So we're getting ready for those. Both our dumbbells here. 3, 2, 1. So coming up and then 3 seconds down. We really want to feel this in the front half of the shoulder. So that's kind of that goal here. We want to push up nice and slow down. Really another key here of feeling it in the shoulders. I see it all the time when our weights are heavy or if we are just not paying attention. If our wrists are bent like this, we're not really going to feel it in the shoulders. Want to keep those wrists straight, coming all the way up, slow all the way down. So straightening those wrists out will help us get that engagement. 3, 2, 1. All right. Last movement of this class, we have our Romanian deadlifts or RDLs. Feet hip width apart. We're pushing that door closed. So we act like we have groceries in our hands. Push the door closed. 3, 2, 1. So Last movement here. We spelled out summer. We're spelling out summer later on today, but don't worry, we have different movements. We also have different movements than our summer from yesterday. So getting creative here, but if you have any themes or words that you'd like me to use this month of June, let me know. I will for sure use them in here. And we'll have some fun this month with summer starting. Great job. Finish strong. 3, 2, 1. And we are done with class for today, or sorry, with the circuit. Class is not over yet. We got to cool down. So when we're ready, grab a sip of water if you need it. And we're going to be on our backs here. We're going to stretch out our piriformis muscle. So that's going to help us open up our glutes and our hips and our hamstrings and our back. So we're going to take, I'm going to leave my left foot on the ground. We're going to take the right ankle, crossing it over the left knee. If that tension feels good, go ahead and stay there. If you need a little bit extra tension, interlace those fingers, grab either behind the knee or in front of the shin and pull that knee towards the chest. I'm going to do a few deep breaths here. So you want to breathe deep in through the nose into the belly. And exhale through the mouth, sighing away the tension. Really relaxing into the stretch. Feeling all the tension leave our bodies. We're going to go ahead and do one more deep breath. And when we're ready, we can gently release that foot back to the ground, and then our other foot. And we're gonna go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. So we're gonna take the left ankle above the right knee. If that tension feels good, go ahead and stay there. If you need a little bit extra tension, we're gonna go ahead and interlace those fingers, grab either behind the knee or in front of the shin and pull towards the chest. So we should be feeling this right on the outside part of our hip. So right underneath the glutes, that's where that piriformis muscle lives. And it can get pretty tight, causing some low back tightness, causing front of the hip tightness, like hip flexor tension, and also into the glutes and hamstrings. So stretching that little guy out will help us feel a little bit better. We did a lot of glute and leg things today, so kind of opening that up will help. Still taking our deep breaths through the nose and out through the mouth. We're going to do one more deep breath here. And after that exhale, when we are ready, gently bring that foot to the ground and then our other foot. And when we're ready, we can roll over onto our side, return to a seated, kneeling, or standing position. And that is going to be all the time we have for class today. So thank you. Great job. We do have the rest of our classes coming up today. So we got exercise and exos today at 12, dance with John at 12:30. We got stability and stretch with Renee, but next week it will be with me. So definitely join us there. And then we got our 2 classes tomorrow with me at 7 and 12. So again, join us there. We got the summer Slack challenge starting in a couple weeks. So definitely let us know you're participating so we can tag you when we post the challenges. It is going to be more movement based since it's summertime. Want to get that heart rate up, help y'all get more ready for summertime. So let me know if you have any questions. You can always check out SharePoint or Slack for more information. But thank you all for coming, and I'll see y'all soon.